So this question says the cost of renting a large canopy tent for up to 10 days is $430 for the first day and $215 for each additional day. So I'm going to treat this like a translate word problem question. Although it's not a long question like typical translate word problem questions, I can tell by the wording of this first sentence that I really do care about the meaning of these values, right? So 430 is equal to day 1, or the first day, you could say, and 215, just put dollar signs here, $215 is equal to day 2 and beyond, so day 2 plus. The next sentence says, which of the following equations gives the cost y in dollars of renting the tent for x days, where x is a positive integer and x is less than or equal to 10. All right, so we're not getting beyond 11 days. We're somewhere between 1 and 10 days. I'm going to just make up a number. I'm going to use plug in your own number here as a strategy. And I'm going to say, how about we just say x is, I don't know, let's say x is 5 days. Let's go with 5 days. Why not? So if x were 5 days, what would happen? We would spend how much for day 1? Well, day 1 is $430. And day 2 is $215. And day 3 is $215. And day 4 is $215. And day 5 is also $215. So it looks like I have 4 days of $215, which means I could have just said 430 plus $215 times 4 to get to my answer. So I'm going to do that in my calculator. So in my calculator, 430, let me get my calculator open, 215 times 4 plus 430, I get $1,290. So we would spend $1,290 for 5 days. So the second step of plug in your own number is to plug that same number in to the answer choices and see which answer choice matches the answer that we got based upon our expectation. So with choice A, again, I'm going to call this 215 times 5 because that's X represents days. So 215 times 5 is 1,075. And 1,075 plus 215 is equal to 1,290. So it looks like I may have found my answer on the first try here. But let's check. I never choose an answer too quickly when I use plug in your own number. I want to try every option just to make sure that there aren't two answers that work, right? Because sometimes that happens. So choice B, 430 times 5 in my calculator, 430 times 5. Well, that's 2150. And then minus 215, that is 1935, or better yet, not 1290, because that's all that matters. It's not 1290, so choice B is gone. Choice C would also be 430 times 5, which is 2150, plus 215. That's definitely not going to be 1290. We're getting even larger than 2150. And choice D, 215 times 5, again, it's back to that 1,075. And 1,075 plus 430 is definitely also not going to be 1,290. So only one answer worked here. That is choice A. And therefore, choice A must be the correct answer. Now, again, this strategy of plug in your own number, you choose whatever number you want. Obviously, with this question, you cannot choose a number greater than 10, right? So that's the caveat there. And again, just to keep in mind, if you happen to choose a number that works for multiple answer choices, your next step is just to choose a different number. So if you chose 2, for instance, for X, and it worked on multiple answer choices, then just go back and choose 3 or choose 5 or choose 7, right? So that's the process. And that's why I checked every single option just to make sure that did not happen. But for this question, choice A is correct.